and then my health will come, because that's exactly what it says. Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health just as your soul prospers. So as our soul gets restored and gets healed, parts of our physical body will be healed. And there's such power in that. Well, we are excited. I know I am. I'm excited for what God's doing here tonight. The other times we've hosted the revival with Pastor Todd Smith, we have not been disappointed. And I know Jesus is no respecter of people. And I have felt the anticipation and just the expectation, just as we worshiped even. You're just excited to see what God's going to do. You know, this is our first night of trying this. We have the last Sunday of every month planned. And in my eyes, I don't care if just one person gets in the water and gets touched by the Lord. It's worth it. We'll try this for the duration through December and see what happens. Word's going to get out, and we'll have more participants. And I was worshiping a while ago, laughing. I thought, even if it's just our helpers that are here, wouldn't that be a wild to get in and just baptize each other and just see what God's doing? So you never know what God has up his sleeve. So I think he honors our heart, obviously. We're so grateful for that. A few testimonies. I wanted to share one Pastor Todd Smith shared. It was powerful. I love in the different places where Pastor Todd has gone to minister through the revival and the water immersion, how the children are being affected. And when he visited March 4th and 5th, just a month ago, he shared how a lot of the children who are dealing with dyslexic or autistic issues, they're getting in the water and just being touched by the Lord. And then one guy, I think his reading level, he went up 3 reading levels within a month, something similar to that. Just seeing, so you young people, you teenagers, do not hesitate to ask the Lord what he wants you to do, what you would like for him to do for you. He cares he loves the children. He loves and cares for the children, no matter your age. Tammy today said, we're all his children. So I don't care if you're 80 or 2, you can get in the water and he'll definitely touch you. Amen. Does somebody here that's been in the water before, do they want to share something? Would you like to share a quick testimony? Nate, why don't you come on up? We are live, I believe, Facebook Live.
I just want to share about my youngest son still. He was 9 years old, and he got in the water, and he wanted more of Jesus. He got him come out of the water speaking in tongues, and but he kind of struggled with his reading and stuff, and some of his focus in class and his grades. And from the last time that I knew, early on, he was struggling with 2 F's and a D. His reading levels actually went up, and he's got like 2 A's, a B, and a C. And his teacher is really the one that's seeing it more than us. I mean, she's blown away. She's was very almost doubtful how well he was going to do in the eye read, and he blew that away. And she was so excited that she asked the principal to give us a call to let us know that he had passed.
I love that. I love that. Last week at Sheila's 80th birthday party, we held it back here in the youth center, and there was about 60 people in there, and a lady walks in from Indianapolis, she had it's on wheels like a scooter. Yeah, her knee was up and she couldn't walk, and on one leg, I guess she could. So she was scooting and walking. But Jason looked over and he really felt Steele should go ask her if he could lay hands on her and pray healing for her. And then we got a report today that the next day the lady could walk. And so she called Sheila and's like, thank you to have thank that boy. So it was a dramatic a dramatic thing for her. She had 4 little kids she had to take care of, and her husband, and they were quite busy at the party. So I'm sure they're all blessed that she's recuperated, obviously. So thank you, Lord. Anyone else have a testimony about the water? Okay. Brandy?
Oh, well, okay. Hi. Yeah, please do. Don't leave me. Don't leave me up here alone. Okay, so this is my inexperience with a microphone. I was here when Todd Smith was here the Friday, and I was loud, so I'm sure a lot of you know me. I've not been the same since. It has been the most amazing experience. Mine was not a physical healing. It was more of definitely of spiritual. I didn't realize why I was getting in the water, exactly what I was getting in the water for. So when I think his name was Andrew, when Andrew was laying hands on me and he asked me why I wanted to get in the water, my response to him was because I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy to be in the water. A lot of my life at that time was complete chaos. My marriage was failing. We had been in counseling for probably close to a year. And my house was in turmoil. My kids were suffering. I was just a mess, just inside out, just a mess. I was miserable, not happy. And really, I couldn't really put my finger on why. Irritable, not a nice person to be around. I went in that water and I came out with the giggles and couldn't realize what exactly it was that I just felt so free and so light. And so I just kept saying, like, it's gone, it's gone. And then I had this overwhelming feeling of love. Like I finally got that Jesus really loves me no matter what I've done. And it finally like sunk in like deep down into the marrow of my bones that my God really loves me, and he paid attention to me in that moment, broke every chain. And what was holding me down was shame and guilt and regret, and I was burdened and had no idea that I was burdened with all these things I thought I had let go in my life. Apparently I didn't. And my marriage is completely different. My household is different. My nursing practice is different. I woke up the next day like I was seeing the whole world with brand new eyes. It was like the grass was greener and the sky was bluer. And it has been the best, most amazing feeling. I've told so many people, and so many people have taken it, and some people look at me like I have 2 heads. But it's been, and I don't even care. And that's the other thing. It's like before I would have cared like what they thought, and now I'm just like, hey, this happened and it's great and you should experience, but if you don't want to, that's fine too, but I'm going to keep telling you. And just this boldness about it. And I just love my Jesus so much. And I'm so thankful for being here. And I'm thankful that Faye like told Angie, who told me, and that's how I came here last time. So it's been life-changing. Yes. Life-changing.
Thank you, Lord. Oh, that's powerful. Oh, God is so good. Anybody else want to share? It could be someone that you brought or some testimony from another person that you know of that they experienced. Okay. All right. We got somebody in agreement back there. I'm thinking here. Well, we hosted Pastor Todd in June, in September, and then March. How can I not think of some testimonies? Well, you know Helen McCartney, at that time 15-year-old. She was a cutter, had some traumatic events happen within her life as a young girl, and was going to go home that night and end her life. She showed up. She's from Indy. She showed up with her family, and she got in the trough, and I think Steve Brown helped baptize her. And she came up, and all the scars on her forearm were gone. And it was powerful. Not only that, she didn't go home and commit suicide. she says the same thing, kind of what Brandy talked about. She felt different. She felt light. She felt and knew that Jesus loved her. She has no doubt. She has no doubt that he has a great future for her. She's now 16, and she visited in March and got in the water again, and God's just doing great things. So that's one we love. Yeah, Nate? Yeah. You know, we do the testimonies and share them because it builds our faith for what's getting ready to happen. So that's one of the reasons we do testimonies.
Pastor Todd talked about getting in the water and still believing, even if your miracle didn't happen that night, still believing that it was going to happen. And I've been prayed for several times, believing to be healed in my neck and in the back of my head from headaches and stuff that I'd experienced from a car wreck in 2017. And I went into the water for Thursday night for that, and I didn't have anything that happened to me that night. But Saturday I got baptized actually with Steele that night, and it was actually something else. I got in the water for that night. But on Sunday, Pastor Jason did the service a little different, and we just worshiped Jesus. And I just got over here at the altar and just gave everything that I wanted to give to him, and gave it all to him. And while laying on the floor, an enormous amount of heat came over me, came over the back of my head into my neck. Felt like I had a full-on sunburn. And I had a sunburn that night all the way till I went to bed. And the next day, it was gone. I haven't had any headaches to this point. A couple of days later, I just started noticing that it felt like muscles actually were growing back in my neck. Actually had strength come back. And I don't know what it is about my young son still. He's got something on his life that God's doing. The night I was in the water, because I didn't find this out till after I told my testimony about my neck getting healed. My mom, 2 days later, we were talking, and 3 times that night, the night we got in the water on Friday night, still seeing that my neck was sunburned. And he told my mom 3 different times, why does Dad got a sunburn on his neck? And I work inside, so I'm not in the sun. But God's got something going on with that kid.
It's so good. Kim, I want to say, come on down.
Yeah. My oldest daughter got in the water in September. My whole family's been in there, and we've had miraculous. I'm not going to go into all of that, but it's just been over the top since September. But my oldest daughter got in specifically for about 6 or 7 years ago. She'd fallen down some stairs, and she ended up cracking her tailbone, which they can't really do anything for. And when she hit the stair, it actually, we never figured out the word for what this is medically, but it like completely indented and pushed up tissue on her hind end. So our joke in the family was it was her third butt cheek. But it was painful. That was the problem. She was in a lot of pain every day. And this was, when was that? That was in June, because when we went to Georgia, I took her. Oh, yes, I forgot to take her the prayer cloth. Okay, thank you. There's been so much. I'm so sorry. So she got in June, or she didn't get in. I took her a prayer cloth. That's what it was. I kept forgetting, and I took it to her the end of July. Yes, to the birthday party. Thank you, Shelley. I'll be okay. This is a good testimony. I almost didn't give it because there's so much going on. I can't remember all the details right now. Okay, but anyway, so yes, I took it to her the end of July, and we went to Georgia. And so in the midst of that trip, and maybe right before I left, she started telling me, I guess she'd put the prayer cloth underneath her bed. She'd went to bed, and she said she felt heat going all the way down her leg, like started in her hip and went all the way down her leg. She got up the next morning. To make a long story short, over the course of the week and several times of this, the first day the pain was gone. The pain didn't come back. The thing was smaller. It got all the way down. She still has like maybe 10% of that huge bump that was on her hind end. The 10% is still there, but the pain has never returned. Yes, and 10% of that big bump is like nothing. So there you go. Sorry.
We had visited the men's conference, I believe it was August 9th in Dawsonville, and it was just that week that it disappeared or got as low as it is. Yeah, she was sending pictures, so we kept blowing Pastor Todd and Karen's phone up with these pictures. So that God is just so good. You know, healing is a process. I don't know if you guys know that. Miracles happen, and it's instantaneous. And healing can be a process. So this was probably a couple week process with her situation, and many others. You know, a lot of our health issues, it can just be a process. And one day you'll wake up and you're like, oh, it's not like it was, you know, the day before, or even a week ago. So God, we can always learn through it too, don't you think? Sometimes it's not that and obviously the Lord does not cause these things to happen. He sure can teach us in it and show us some things and bring us understanding as we're walking out our healing. He's so gracious and merciful. All right. No other testimonies. Oh, Rosen?
This is a strange testimony. And I didn't get it until this evening, what God had done. But I guess it's been a little over a year ago. A group of us went to Indianapolis for the first time to do the water immersion with Todd Smith. Anyway, we went all the way up there. It was a long evening. I thought I better hurry up and get in line so all of us could get our baptisms and get home because it was really getting late. But anyway, I was the first up there, and Todd Smith says, well, what do you want the Lord to do for you? And I started crying. And I said, I have a man that is renting this house from me, and he is going to hell. And I want to pray for him. And I just was weeping for this guy. His name is Mick. And I thought, well, you know, in a way, this is kind of strange prayer for coming for baptism. But probably that was January a year ago. March wasn't. It wasn't too much longer after that I had it up to here with him, because he would threaten me. He would say ugly things to me. He, at one point, threatened to throw me on the ground and throw my lawnmower on top of me. But, you know, I would say ugly things back to him. It was not a good situation. But anyway, I got fed up, and so I went and filed for an eviction, which this was a big thing for me because it costs $125. But I had told him I'm going to sell the house and he needed to find a place to move. And he said, the only way I'm leaving here is in a coffin. And, but anyway, I've been trying to be a sweet Christian. I've been trying to talk kindly to him and to be a good witness, but it didn't seem to be working too well. Well, it wasn't long till he called and said, please just let me stay here. He said, I've never lived anyplace else. I can't get along. And truly, I had thought for years I'd like to kick him out, and I tried to sell the place, but he wouldn't even leave when they showed the person around. And naturally, nobody was going to buy it with him living there. But anyway, he agreed then to a lot of terms, and he started mowing his own, taking some responsibility. But he would call me and want me to do these things, and it was just horrible, horrible. Well, I think what happened is the Lord gave me some guts and some courage to deal with this man, and that he was like a satanic probe, and I was just trying to be sweet and kind, and it wasn't working. And actually, yesterday he called me. The dog next door is barking at 2:30 in the morning. And at 4:30 in the morning, and it's just doing it to upset him, and his blood pressure is up. And I said, well, why don't you get some cotton and put in your ears or some earplugs? You just make excuses for the other people, and you're not helping me out. And he said, if I go over there, there is probably going to be a murder. And I said, well, it's not my house, it's not even my house. But somehow he thinks I'm responsible. And I said, well, you have to try to do your part or something like that. And he said, I'm going to call the police. And if I get upset, it's going to be all your fault. And I'm going to tell them it's your fault. I said, that would just be telling a bald-faced liar. Click. And I just, as I'm sitting there, I'm realizing that God is giving me courage to deal with this man. I don't know if that's going to help him out or not, but my son actually owns the house, and I know the guy that lives there. So I called him and left him a message. I called my son and left him a message. But the guy gave me courage in that water to deal with this man.
And we still pray for his salvation. that's the good. And courage is needed. There's times in our life we have to walk out in courage. Tammy or Darlene, I just saw a hand. I didn't know whose it was.
I've experienced something each time in the water. Actually, we went to Bowling Green, Kentucky the first time, and I just felt lighter. Like I had asked God to take anything. I wanted him to crucify my flesh. And so that whatever came, everything that was not of him to take. And that's basically been my prayer every time. And I experienced such freedom that night, and I was just lighter. Each time after that, he's healed me. There was another issue, a physical issue, and it was just a female issue. And God reminded me as the female issue that he reminded me of the woman with the issue in the Bible that was 12 years. And it was almost to the date 12 years that I had the same issue. He delivered me from that. He's given me such joy and such freedom and just deliverance. Even when I served, there's just a refreshing. Like he is doing a work each and every time. So I encourage you, if there's still stuff on your life, which we're all evolving, get in.
Thank you, Darlene. Yeah, I think my all-time favorite testimony that Pastor Todd Smith shared is on the lady with schizophrenic issues. Remember when they first started out, he said they'd be there till 3 or 4 in the morning, and he'd look up and he'd see that lady at the end of the line, and he's like, not her again, And it's kind of funny, but it's not. Each time that lady got in that water, she knew and recognized the freedom that she was receiving. And it was 90 some times that she went in that water. And she is now a full blown, healthy lady who can work, hold a job, have a great life, nothing like she was before she got in that water the first time. So, that's, to me, that is just amazing, just to be the tenacity that took. So that was one of the first things I remember sharing last June when we knew, or last May when we knew Pastor Todd was going to visit. Hey guys, get in the water as much as you need to, because we all have stuff that we've dealt with, or that's like lingering, like you said, Brandy. You didn't even know what it was to put your finger on it. But God is so good. Every time we get in, and it's so true, darling, when you minister. I kind of was chuckling because, boy, in March when several were in the water, it was powerful. And I couldn't wait to hear what the others were sensing, days later and weeks later, because just being in the water ministering, you're being touched. So God is just faithful to what he's doing. And we're just blessed that we were able to get this large pool and host these revivals, because we want people free. That's just been our hearts from day one. And, the freer each one of us are, the freer our communities will be. Your sphere of influence is different than ours. So go at it. I don't know if you're from Bloomington or Spencer, or just look how things will change, one life at a time. And how you minister, you just minister so freely and you just share. It is just the love of God that just filled you. It's just powerful to see. It's so exciting. So really, the ones who, I guess we can go ahead, and the ones who are going to be getting in the water, did you guys bring an extra change of clothes, or okay? So what we're doing in the back here, we have the table of extra towels. If you need to change clothes, we've got the men's in the dressing room as the men's bathroom. And then we have the women's back in here. So in another area, you'll see, we'll have some of the ladies go back and direct you. And then the helpers, you all can take your places as well. And we'll just see how all this goes. Excited to see what Jesus does.